my gosh, all 87 of you would have come to Oregon, 88 of you, and mass murdered me if I did not record this. Thank you, hashtag Radio Trudy, for reminding me privately to record this. So, in my real life, before before doing this, that's what I did. I managed childcare centers, and I had to convince families to enroll their children in our program. So, do you think every single person said yes? No. Do you think every single person chose my facility? No. As a matter of fact, for all intents and purposes, there was a child care center across the street, a child care center on the next intersection, a child care center the neighborhood over, and 4 child care centers right across the street from Costco down the road where all the parents had to drive by to go to work. So they had tons of options right in front of their faces, and I had to explain why I was the best. I had a lot of competition, and some of the things that made my job easier were A, being incredibly passionate about what I was doing, which I was, who I was working with, which I was, the product that we had, our facility, our people, which I was, but also knowing what things people might come to me with as a concern or a question prior to them ever asking it. So that when I went through the tour, when I went through the facility with them, when I talked to their teachers, I got to a point where I knew, listen, these are the 10 things parents ask all the time. These are the 10 things that are going to hang them up from enrolling their child here. So I'm going to make sure that their questions or concerns are answered before they ever even ask. And I didn't realize it, but that skill set has helped me tremendously as I have transitioned to doing this full time, right? I know ahead of time what are some of the things that people are going to say when they're making the switch to introducing a new supplement, something they've never tried before, making a switch to a healthier life, spending money on themselves that they haven't ever spent before. Like, I already know what some of those objections are. So if you can think of what some of those objections are, if you've experienced some of the reasons why people say no, you can go ahead and drop them in the chat and we'll try to address them. But for me, it's always, these are the things I hear the most commonly. So if you have anything else, feel free to drop them. It's too expensive. Oh, look, the first 2 things that people said, money, right? It's too expensive. Listen, I used to sell people $1,400 a month child care bills. Like, that's what I sold them, where their baby wasn't even going to get one-on-one attention. Let's be real. Their teacher had to watch 4 other babies. Like, so too expensive, I can handle that. People who say they can't do what you do, they can't sell. That's a great one, Lindsay. That's another one that comes up when I talk to someone about the opportunity. People who don't want to change I don't want to change my diet. Oh, I don't think I can do low carb. I don't think I can go to the gym. So those are some of the most common ones I get. Oh, my friends don't think it's a good idea. Awesome. I don't think my friends would want to see this on my Facebook. Man, some people have rude friends. Let's tell them to get new friends. How about that? Not enough friends when they're talking about selling the product, when they're talking about being a promoter. Oh, Leslie says, I don't want to be involved in an MLM. Okay, I've definitely heard that before. Good thing this isn't one. That's my favorite. I go, well, lucky for you. That's not what this is. Oh, Lindsay talks about the sodium. People say there's too many promoters. Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. People say, is this a pyramid scheme? But I keep seeing cost. So let's start with the cost, because that's the one we got the most, and we'll see how many of these other ones we can fit in. I am going to give you a couple of tips. I'm going to ping pong back and forth with Stephanie. I'm super excited because Jessica Craig said she didn't know if she was going to be able to get on this tonight, and now I see her pretty face, so I may ask her too. Okay, we've got some, oh, some people are saying you don't need to drink it, you can just do the diet, all that good stuff. Okay, so we're going to try and adjust all of those things. Hold on one second. I have a teenager who walked into my office and is giving me an incredibly oh, she has her first job application. Yay, baby, I'm so excited for you. Can I talk to you after this?
Yeah, I was just going to show you.
Right neatly.
I will. Sorry for interrupting.
I want her to be a baby forever. She has a job application. Can you all stop that? Let's change the topic of this Zoom from how to overcome objections to how to make my baby girl stop being a teenager. Okay, so let's talk specifically about cost. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Remember that thing that I said where I knew what people were going to ask me about ahead of time when I was enrolling people in childcare? I know that a lot of people are going to talk to me about cost. Do you want to know why I know that? Because cost was the number one thing that prevented me from placing my first order as well. So let's all take a moment, and I apologize that I look so gross today. Let's all take a moment and just wrap our brains around that. Cost was the reason why it took me as long as it did to place my first order. I was concerned about price because both my husband and I wanted to drink it. I read on the package that it was, 1 dose for therapeutic, 2 for optimal. Well, hello, I want optimal performance. So for us, that was going to be more than our current car payment to have us both drink 2 servings of Keto OS a day. So I agree, Amanda, I felt guilty when I placed that first order. I thought to myself, okay, can I really afford to do this? What can I cut back? So first of all, I never get frustrated with people when they say, I'm worried about cost or cost is too much. The first thing I do is say, I understand, if they get to me before I get to them and bring it up, the first thing I do is tell them that. I totally understand, girl. I felt the exact same way when I first made my first order. So what I just shared with you is what I share with them if they bring up cost before I ever get to. But my number one thing so that cost is not a concern or a conversation when I talk to people is I try to make sure that the product has value before we ever even talk about how much it is. So when you talk to somebody about the product, take a good look at how you're talking to them about it. Are you sending them the campfire video and then waiting for them to ask you how much it is? Or are you saying, oh my gosh, I can't wait for you to watch this video. Let me tell you what this product has done for me. All of my carb and sugar cravings are completely gone. I sleep like a rock. I have so much mental clarity and focus, I almost don't know what to do with it. There used to be this time where I would walk around the house looking for my car keys and they would be on my finger. That doesn't happen to me anymore. And holy cow, did you ever just start a conversation with someone and then you're like, wait, what were we talking about? That used to be me all the time, and now it's not. I can't get over how great I feel. I say all of that stuff oftentimes before I ever even share the video with them, so there's a value attached to the product before we ever talk about price. I'm going to actually ping pong it back to Stephanie for 2 reasons. One, because I want to know, Stephanie, if there's anything that you do prior to the conversation of cost coming up that we could take a note from you. And also because I have a heater on in my office and it's 900 degrees in here now and I really don't want a strip show on this thing. So I'm going to turn my heater off.
Okay, so I love that answer. I don't address the cost unless somebody addresses it with me, because I think that if we jump to conclusions, there's actually a lot of people that if you bring it up and if you're looking for it, I always say, you get what you're looking for. If you're going to bring up the cost issue, it might ping people in there and it's going to make them think about it. So I have a lot of people that in the very beginning, when I was like, ooh, I don't know, and I didn't have that belief in the product, that was the issue. That was the question that was always coming up. Not that I don't ever get it. We all do. But I've kind of walked myself through the same thing that you did, Mandy. And I have stories that I say the same thing over and over again. My kids can recite it every time if somebody says well, how much does it cost? And my daughter, my 10-year-old will say, well, and she'll recite it. But I say the same thing because first I share my story. If you're not using your voice when you're messaging people back and forth, first of all, that's a game changer because it flips the switch quicker than typing things out. So if you're afraid to use the voice, use your voice. But what I tell people is this, and you have to figure out your own story. But I say the same thing. I say, here's the deal. I say most people, and I usually exaggerate this, you might not be one of them, but most people are drinking something. They're drinking a meal replacement shake. They're drinking a protein shake. I give them stories. I say, my girlfriend is a stay-at-home mom. She homeschools 5 kids. She always complains she has no money, and she goes to Starbucks coffee every day. Or my brother, who's 21, who says he has no money, goes out to eat every day and grabs 2 energy drinks. Or like I give them examples so that they are like, oh yeah. And I say, here's the deal. It's really tweaking where you're spending your money. Let me help you. Like, where are you spending $5 to $6 a day? And let's just take that out and let's add this in. So it's just going to be a replacement. And that's where the 5 and 10 day experience comes in, because you can offer that if they're not ready to commit right away. That's like the path of least resistance. So I go there. And then I also kind of plug in the, if you ever want to share it, like you don't have to share it with tons of people. I'm not asking you to sell it, but that's where I plug in. Like if you've got friends and family, if you've got a mom or a sister who needs better energy, you've got a tired mom or a sister that is like worn out from her kids, like whatever that case may be, if you share it with some people, like I can help you get your product for free. So I kind of plug all that in there, but I don't do it till they ask me. Really.
I agree with that. You know, like I said, I give the product value before cost
Yes.
becomes an issue. But if cost is brought up,
Yes.
I probably have something very similar that my family can recite as well, where I just would say, well, cost is going to depend on whether or not you want to drink it once a day or twice a day, whether or not you want it in a tub or on the go packs. That may change if we ever get rid of our tubs. You know, or if you want to share it with a couple of people and get yours for free. And then I add, I've actually never paid for my personal product other than my first order. And that is my last statement. A lot of times that'll create a, you know, well, what do you mean I can get it for free? What do you mean you have to pay for it? They'll say, oh, well, that's because you sell it. And I'll say, no, my mom and my sister love the product. So the fact that they order it every single month means mine is free.
Yep. I love it.
Everyone has a mom. Lots of people have sisters. Many people have siblings if they don't have a sister or a best friend or a coworker. So you just have to put those tips into people and to be okay with and proud of what the cost is. So a lot of times my little spiel that I say will say, oh my God, girl, it's such a good deal. I would pay 3 times more than this. Like if you say, I would pay 3 times more, they think it's, you know, and I would.
And I'll give you a tip too. When somebody says, well, okay, after the 5 or 10 day experience, like what does it cost me a month? I never say it's $150 or $140 or $130. I never say it because I feel like when you say it, it's kind of like, I always say, hey, check out my site below. What's great is if there's no promo, I always say, hey, the first month you pay full price, but if you're on a smart ship, it's 22% off that every month. And so I just say, check out my site. Go look at it. I walk them through it so they can kind of go look at it. I just feel like it's different when they're looking and seeing and kind of you added the value already versus you going, well, it's going to be like $130. So that's it. I mean, I don't say that very often. I just go check it out and then we chat back and forth.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Stephanie. And I guarantee if I screenshotted any of the conversations that I'm in today, you would never see me. There would never be a dollar sign next to anything unless I'm talking about a 5 or 10 day experience.
Yep.
So that's perfect, and I love it. Before we move on to some of these other things that we hear about, I'm going to give everybody a chance to type if there's a question specifically about cost. I literally wanted to bring up that hashtag Radio Trudy. I love you so much. And that's all I'm ever going to call you from now on. She brought up a really good point, is not to compare the product to weight loss supplements. So a lot of people do come to me for the weight loss portion, even though it's funny when I tell them what the product has done for me, I almost never bring that part up. Mostly because I didn't have a ton of weight to lose. So for me to be like, oh, I lost 4 pounds, it's like, okay, that's not super impressive. But the other benefits are what I really want people to stay for. But people come to us for weight loss. So I feel like a lot of them have the, well, I can get Hydroxycut for $19.99 at Target. Right? So we have to be very careful that fat loss and weight loss are not the only things that we're putting value on, because that changes how people value the product when we're talking with them as well. Leslie says she does the same steps, and she's in Canada. And Jessica, the same steps. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. She said What do you do if you are in Canada and the price is more? Well, the good thing is, I mean, if you're in Canada and you're sharing the product, you're paid in American dollars. So I think that works out good for you all. I don't know how that works, but I've heard that before. But the same steps. I mean, the value is the value is the value. Starbucks coffee costs more for you as well, right? So the value is what the product can do for you doesn't change because of where you live. Will the site ever be edited so people can choose what currency they want to see the prices in? That's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that, but I can find out and get back to you.
I think that, isn't it in Canada, it is in the Canadian price? I thought that if they use their CA one, it is, but maybe it's not.
I thought so too, but Leslie's on here, and she can maybe verify. Oh, they said nope, it's listed as American.
Okay.
We can
know. Well, my husband talks to Craig almost every day, so I can ask Craig for that. That would be good. I can plug that in, Mandy.
It is in Canadian, but it comes through the bank in American.
So the site lists it as Canadian, but it comes through the bank in American? That would be the opposite problem then.
Wouldn't that be better?
Yeah. Anyway, we'll figure it out. We don't want to get stuck on that since we don't know, but we'll figure it out. So we'll figure it out. And like we said, Stephanie's husband, Steve, talks closely with our IT group all the time. So we can see what we can be done about that. I think the challenge is that in the United States, our prices are our dollar is the same all the time. And like sometimes there's a conversion problem. So it's hard to keep up with, but we'll see what we can do. Okay. So anybody else have any questions about how to address cost? Or do you feel like there was value to that? Like give us some thumbs up or some yeses if those things helped you. And one thing I want to remind you is that things that are good sometimes do cost more. So you have to remember and have pride and value. I'm going to mute everybody one more time because I feel like there's just a little bit of feedback, and then I'll unmute Stephanie. We keep doing it at the same time, I think. No, okay, you stop touching your phone. No, I can't unmute you. I don't know what's happening. I'm super sad. So we'll figure it out in a minute. But remember that things that are really great sometimes cost more. Like, I know it sounds super cheesy and cliche, but have you ever bought like a purse from like Payless Shoe Source, or then bought a purse from Coach or Michael Kors? I'm just being real. Like, if you've ever had the opportunity to compare those two things, they're not the same, right? And maybe I could have 50 more purses from Payless Shoe Source than I could Michael Kors bags, but I guarantee it is random. I don't know why I thought of that. I think because I was parked in front of one today. But I guarantee my Michael Kors bag is going to last a little bit longer. So it's got a better value, number one. And number two, there's something to be said for the fact that we literally have a product that can serve every person. If you were on the huddle call, you heard me say it today. If you know me on Facebook, it was part of my post today. There is nothing else out there that can serve every single person on the planet, right? If I'm selling makeup, only ladies, well, maybe a few boys, but mostly ladies. If I'm selling skincare, if I'm selling wraps or Tupperware or whatever the heck else. I mean, you think of anything that you've ever seen that people share with other people or sell to other people. You can't reach the demographic of people we can reach. There's a value to that, so be proud of it. And yes, Lacey, this is a fabulous point, and I'm glad you said something because I wanted to bring it up as well. The keto tea we've gotten a sneak peek of, that's an incredible price point to be able to bring people in on if and when that's officially ours. Not when that will happen, but I just don't, or not if, when, I don't know when, but when it happens for us, that's an incredible product that you can bring people in. Like for someone, last week to be able to get into our community and experience our product for $50, $57, that's huge, right? They'll have an incredible experience with that product because we don't put things out that don't give you an experience. So they're going to have an incredible experience, and it will instantaneously add value to all of the other things that we offer. So that's an incredible thing to remember.
Hey, Mandy, can I add something real quick?
Yeah, please do.
So, and sometimes you have to realize that no is not really a no, it's just not now. So what I tell people is if they're not ready for the product or it's too expensive, like I always add value. Like, hey, you know what? I always say, like, you can do it all diet wise. Like if their goal is solely fat loss, show them where to, like, just give yourself some, like, I just have a little copy and paste that I send people about like how to eat, a couple little websites, because the longer they try to do it, and if they're struggling, like if you check back in a month, and they're like, hey, how's your keto journey going? They may be like, not very well. And they may try it then because they're realizing, and they're going to see your consistency. They're going to still see your posts. You still care to reach out to them even though they didn't buy it from you. So if you keep those people, like I've had a person, I think just this last month, that was like, okay, I've tried the diet for an entire year. I'm ready to join you. People will watch you, and they just want to, so add value, help them, meet them where they're at. And eventually they'll join you because it is hard.
Yeah, that's an awesome tip. I absolutely love that, and I wrote that down for sure. And my brain was going somewhere, and then you said that amazing thing, and then I forgot. So clearly I need to drink more keto. So I can't make a voicemail today that I lost my train of thought, because today I did lose my train of thought. But yeah, 100%. I think that cost is something that, you can address with people. You can prevent the cost from being an issue, but you can't do any of that if you don't 110% believe that what you're sharing with them has the value. So, make sure that that's in your heart and in your voice whenever you do that. Jess said, I pay for the Heinz ketchup over the no name. It looks the same, but it doesn't taste the same for sure. Plus, I love Heinz ketchup because they make it in Pittsburgh. Yes, build the value and set the expectations. So another thing that really helps with value, and then we're going to move on to some of these other topics. And some of you may have heard me say this before. I'm going to give you a little example here. Even though I haven't memorized, you might not. Let's say your first interaction with a customer is a 5 or 10 day experience, which is a really incredible way to get people in. If I'm not sharing that opportunity with people who talk about the cost as a concern, I'm really doing them a disservice. First of all, they'll see the value in the larger box when you tell them how much a 5 or a 10 day experience is, because a 5 or a 10 day experience is more per serving. But also, it gives you an opportunity, if you haven't already been able to instill value in the product, to instill value at that point. So once they decide on a 5 or a 10 day, I make sure to bring up all these benefits on the side of the box. If I haven't had a chance to say, oh my gosh, let me tell you about what this product has done for me, I can say, I'm so excited for you. Tell me, other than fat loss, what of these other benefits are you most excited about experiencing? And then I list them. And what that does, not only does me sharing my personal, this is what the product has done for me, instill value, but it also kind of activates that RAS that we hear about. I stocked Prove It for a little while, so I knew what these things were. But if I didn't know what benefits to expect, my first 5 days would not have been winner chicken dinner. I'm just going to be honest with you. My first 4 or 5 days, I didn't have a life-changing experience really. But had I not been thinking, well, sleep and focus, like those were the 2 things I experienced first. I didn't experience weight loss. I gained a few pounds. Actually, in my first few days, I wasn't used to drinking. Definitely wasn't in the habit of drinking enough water, and I gained a few pounds. So my first experience was that I knew what these benefits were. So when I woke up on day 4, I didn't have carbs and sugar cravings. That was huge. But I also went, I slept really well last night. That's new for me. I'm pretty focused this week. That's new for me. I'm the last man standing in my house. That's for sure new for me. Those were the things that really made me go, okay, so I didn't have really great results these first 5 days as far as fat loss is concerned, but the product is clearly doing what it's supposed to do. Let me go ahead and order a full 30 days because I need to see if the rest of these things will come into play. So those are some really great ways to instill value, make cost not an issue. In fact, there's also nothing wrong with just telling people it's freaking worth it. So today I'm in a third party with, I don't know if Jake is on. I don't know if he's on. I can't scroll through 128 people. But I was in a third party with Trainer Jake. You all know him. He's the one that tried to make me do a keto diet to begin with. So we shouldn't like him, but we do. I was in a third party with someone that he was introducing to the product today, a mom. He shared Sierra's story from the Facebook page with her. She just had a baby. She's suffering from some of those feelings after you have a baby, right? She's not super happy. He gave her a sample pack, one sample pack. And in her message to me, she said, if he wouldn't have given me that sample pack, I would have felt doomed to feel this way forever. One sample pack. We have that kind of an impact over people. Like, that's what we do. So when I heard her story, when she said that to me, even though our entire conversation was about the cost and how she was concerned about the price, I said, I don't understand how you can make that sentence and not know that it's worth every penny. Like, I think we just need to find you $100. Like, we just need to do it. Like, she already knew how much it was. She'd already looked at the website. Like, we just need to find you the money for a box of Max. Like, and she's like, you're right. So be proud of what you have. It's okay to also just be transparent and real with people who need it, because that's our job at the end of the day, is to change their lives, not make a sale. So remember that. And again, remember, it's not always no. Sometimes it's not now. I have people who talk to me all the time who haven't talked to me ever, and I've been posting for a year, or people who messaged me today because I'm sharing Sierra's post, who I haven't talked to since last January about ketones. So it's been a year since our first conversation. So, you just can't give up. Okay, let's talk about some of these other things here. Stephanie, while I'm scrolling, what are some other objections? I keep wanting to say objectives. What are some other objections that you feel, either in your team or in your personal experience, that you feel you have to overcome with people?
I think, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think another big one is the food. Like, either I don't work out, or no, you can't have those. No, out. Food and the diet, because I have a lot of people that ask about the ketogenic diet. And so I always say, like, I just give them, it's the same thing. It all comes down to relationships and stories. It's your belief. It's not wavering. Because I know in the beginning when I used to share, I would be like, oh, yeah, I don't know. Or, oh, but now you're just, with confidence, you share. So, like, hey, I didn't go to the gym for a year. All I did was take the product and I worked on my food. I took the buns off the burgers, the croutons off the salad, and I still ate chips because I liked them. But over a year, I've been able to make different switches and feel much better. So I tell people, I kind of give them, I say there's a good, a better, and the best. The best people would take the product twice a day and eat a very strict keto diet. Most people can't do that, nor do they want to. Good is like, let's take the buns off the burgers, the croutons off the salad, lettuce wraps. Like, I'll help you eat better if you want it. And then there's, good. Better is like, so there's different phases. And I tell people, what do you want? Like, if you want to feel better and if you want to get rid of the processed sugars and carbs, let's do it. Your first objective is to get the product in your mouth, and then we'll work from there. Is that helpful?
Yeah, super helpful. I agree. People come to me and say, I don't want to do the ketogenic diet, or I've tried to do the ketogenic diet.
Yep.
And it's hard. And I love being able to say, I've tried to do the ketogenic diet and it's hard. And I agree.
We use the word keto-ish a lot. We always say, oh, we're kind of low carb keto-ish. Like, we love the drink, we make some different changes, and then we slip up, and then we love the drink to get us back on track, because most people take one cheat meal that turns into a cheat day, then a cheat week, then a cheat month, then a cheat year, then they're all the way back around here next year and going, what happened? I mean, that's one of the major powers of our product, is if you have a cheat day or a cheat meal or you slip up, you've got the product to get you back on track. I say that all the time, and they're like, oh yeah, that's powerful.
Right, for sure. And I love, like you just said, we're keto-ish. You shared your story, like I just took the buns off the burgers, the croutons off the salad. I see Ashley posting over here. I still ate all the same stuff. My portions were just smaller. Oh, here's a good one, Christina. Yeah, I'm going to touch on Christina's in a second. So you guys are sharing your story. You heard Stephanie share her story. I do the same thing with people. I say, oh, I don't follow a keto. Here's my number one seller. Let me tell you, write this down. I could never give up wine. That is my number one selling statement. If we want to talk about like a quote unquote sales pitch, my number one sales pitch is I could never give up wine. And it's true. I live in the middle of wine country. I probably need to build a whole nother building in my backyard to house all the wine that Jack and I have. Jack is a collector. So if there's a really great bottle or an old bottle or a blah, 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 and Jessica said, I got a sale from saying you can still have wine. I mean, people want to be real, right? Like my biggest joy comes from helping people change their lives and still be who they are, right? I'm never going to be the kind of prove it promoter who is on jets 400 times a month, flying all over the world, doing meetings, and because that's not what me as a mom, what I can do. I mean, somebody can do it, you can do it, and I'll support you every step of the way if that's what you want to do. But part of my mission in business is to be able to say, hey, I can build a business being a mom. I can build a business from my home. I can build a business from a band concert. I can build a business and be focused on my family. But the same is true for our customers. I want to be able to help people change their lives and not have to stop being who they are or loving what they love. I love wine, not in an alcoholic kind of way. I promise you, I even have a wine glass that Connie on our team gave me that is to pretend I have keto in here, and I've never even used it. It's just for decoration right now, so I don't have a problem. That would have deal. Again, we're talking about sharing your story. I'm going to see part 1 and part 2, but part 1 was share your story with proper value, and part 2 is share, for this and purpose as well. When people say, I don't want to do the diet, share your story. You know what I mean? If your story is that you're strict keto, that's awesome. But if you have somebody who doesn't want to be that, share someone else's story. Just like, oh, but my friend Mandy, she will never give up wine. She's having great results with the product and she will never give up wine. And wine is something I would absolutely have to never have if I wanted to be strict keto. So we take the buns off the burgers. Well, that's not true. I do like some croutons, so I do eat a couple of croutons. I don't ask for them to take the croutons off my salad. I do keep a couple. And today I had lunch at the Cheesecake Factory. I did not have cheesecake, but I did eat some of that brown bread. So y'all, I'm real, and I tell people that. Okay, so share your story with them and put them at ease. The same thing with people who say, oh, I don't want to have to work out. Okay, well, I like to work out, but let me share with you a couple of stories of people who don't. So it really is just a story and sharing your story to increase value for the product. So I'm trying to read what else. Oh, hold on. I got to go back to Christina's. Where is it? Oh, yeah. So Christina Peterson says that she has people who talk to her about the keto flu. They've done the ketogenic diet, and so they're like, oh, I don't want to have the keto flu. If anybody says that to you, you say to them, perfect, this product will prevent you from getting the keto flu, because that's exactly what it does for people. So, the keto flu comes from a drastic and quick reduction in carbohydrates. So when you're consuming our product, you don't have to have a drastic and quick reduction in carbohydrates, right? In fact, I tell people all the time, don't change anything right off the bat. Here are my 8 steps, and if you guys are on our customer page or on our team page, you have them. If not, send me a message. Oh, don't send me a message. I have 7,000 messages right now. Post on our team page and say, Mandy, share the 8 steps. I have a little, who's laughing at me? Julie. Julie's laughing at me because I'm probably in 20 messages of hers that I haven't even replied to yet today. Don't judge me, Julie. I love you so much. I can't get to them all the time, but I'm going to, I promise. You might just get an update from me at 1 a.m. But just somebody post on our team page and I'll post it in there. But it's just the 8 little squares that says, do these 8 things. And that's it. That's all I tell people to do. So it's not overwhelming and it's not crazy. Let's see what,
I think there's a question about sodium because a lot of people ask about the sodium. Do you guys have the link, and I can send it to you if you don't, Mandy, of the video that Dustin did with Dr. Diamond that talks all about sodium?
I do not have that, and I would
It is a phenomenal video. I never explain it ever again. I go, here, watch this. And so I will send it to you. I'll text it to you, and then you can put it on your page so you don't lose it in your messages. Or I'll just put it in a group. But that has been super, super, super helpful. And just know this too. I tell people, like, here's the deal. When you're in ketosis, food-wise or with the product, your body's flushing out your electrolytes. You have to replenish them eventually. Now, if you're not changing the diet, it won't be for a while. If you get cramps in the middle of the night, you know that you're going to need to go grab some Himalayan salt or some potassium, magnesium. But most people don't need it right away. Yeah. But if they're concerned with the sodium, I have a video, so I'll send that over.
I would love that video for sure. And while we're talking about the videos real quick, and I know we're sort of jumping around, and I'm real sorry. Normally I write out an agenda. I didn't do that today. This is all by the seat of our pants, so don't judge. You can judge me. It's fine. I don't mind. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal if you judge me. But I love using videos. We're going to get to some of these other topics as well. I love using videos as tools because it is, again, incredibly validating. And there's a reason why validating and values start the same way. They're connected with one another, really. So if you can validate for someone that it's not just hocus pocus that you're spewing to them to help you pay your credit card bill this month because you're a promoter, they'll appreciate what you're telling them more. So you're going to provide even more value. The number one question I'm going to ask you when you are thinking of these examples where someone has said something to you that's an objection as to why they can't do it, here's my question back to you. What happened after you popped them in a message with me or one of your uplines or one of your champs? Because a lot of times when I ask that question, the person will say, I didn't do that. Oh, okay. I can promise you that whether the person orders today or not, I can give them value so they know the cost isn't a big deal. Whether someone orders today or not, if you put them in a conversation with me or someone in between you and me, they won't be worried about the sodium anymore. That's a tool that provides value for people as well. So please don't forget to use it. Let's see here. Somebody talked about, I wish Jack were on here, but he had to take Madeline to the doctor, although they're back clearly because she has a job description or a job application. Can you speak to some objections that men tend to run into?
I'm on.
Oh, you're on. Hi, baby.
I've been on the whole time.
I love you so much. I didn't know.
Whatever.
I do really love you. Where are you? I don't even see you. Okay.
I'm off video.
Oh. We'll put your video on. Can you help with this question?
I don't know. I don't know what the question is.
It says, can you speak to some objections that guys run into, if you're talking to other guys at the gym? So I know that I wish Jake were on too. I know that you have conversations with people all the time about supplements, right? Jack used to be a supplement guy. Jack had a pre-workout, a post-workout, a protein shake. Literally,
yeah,
400 pills in the morning. Now it's just keto. So
well, that's it. You literally, that's exactly what I say to him. I mean, I don't need to talk because you typically talk for me. So, but you answered it. You just answered it. When they say, so, I eat 6 times a day because I'm looking to get big, or I don't want to lose any muscle, right? And so I literally go into, not to get all scientific on them, but I just go into how ketones preserve muscle mass, how our bodies utilize O2 more efficiently so you get a better workout, how focus and mental clarity works with your mind-body and your mind-muscle connection. And, when I'm talking to dudes in the gym, they already have an idea what that means. So I'm literally like, yeah, dude, I literally threw out everything. I've stopped wasting money on other things. I just drink ketones. And so that, that's all I say. I mean, I don't have to go into a big this is what it does on a molecular level, and this is what the polymer chain looks like on this level, and I don't have to get into any of that. It's like, you know, I'm in the gym doing what I'm doing, so you can see that I'm working out, that I'm maintaining my mass, that things are working the way they are. So guys see that, and you just relay that information.
Yeah,
is that what you wanted?
I think so, babe. Yeah, I get a lot of that muscle mass too, and it's not just dudes, like girls who are lifters or figure competitors, or you know, I get that question from them a lot too. So we have tools that we can share with them that talk about how ketones are muscle preserving. That's number one. It's written on the side of our box. So if that's not enough, we have other tools that can help address that for them. But again, you know, same thing. Like, I have real conversations with people that say this is what our life was like before ketones. Pre-workout, post-workout, tons of energy supplements, a supplement that we had to take at night to calm us down and put us to sleep because we were all jacked up from the stuff that we had taken all day. This is so much easier. So that's, and another thing is that people who are in that industry, that talk about, like, this is what Radio Trudy's saying. Like, she is a girl that says she's high protein. That's a really cool thing, though, you guys. If you're talking to somebody in the fitness industry and they are convinced that they have to be high protein, or they are convinced that they can't have fats, guess what? Cool. Our product works regardless of what healthy lifestyle you're choosing. You can have the benefits. I'm going to mute everybody one more time. You can have the benefits of ketones and ketosis even if you want to continue eating that diet that your trainer has you on to get ready for that show. So I actually have a friend who is a figure competitor, and that's exactly why she drinks our product. Exactly. Because she goes through so many phases of intense, extreme dieting during the 18-week prep before her show, that she can experience the benefits of being in ketosis even during the times where she has to be fat restricted, or she has to be high protein, or she has to consume carbs. She still gets the benefits of ketones and ketosis. So that's a really beautiful thing. Lacey said, yes, I'm competing in 2019. Lacey, I'm going to come to your show and cheer for you. I don't know where you live, but that's what I'm going to do. What other objections? I don't know. Now I've shuffled everybody around and I don't know where Stephanie is. Does anybody remember some of the other objections? Somebody saying not enough friends.
What about sharing it? Like, they don't think they can share it.
The objections to sharing. So first of all, Amanda, I don't talk to know-it-alls. If you're a know-it-all, then you can just stalk me on Facebook and watch everybody else that I love and care about who trusted me get a better, healthier life. Don't waste your time. Literally, here's the deal, you guys. We'll go back to this sharing thing. But if you have a know-it-all, like, love them where they're at, you guys, okay? They're know-it-alls. That's fine. They know it all. You're not going to convince them or change their mind. So every minute that you're spending trying to convince someone what you know is a waste, because there are people out there who really want the benefit and your support and your help. So you just go like this. Awesome. It was so great to chat with you. And then this is what I say, and it's kind of snotty, so don't judge me, but most of the time they don't realize I'm being snotty, so don't judge, okay? I say, awesome. If you know anyone who's open-minded, who wants to experience any of these benefits, and then I list the benefits on the side of the box, I say, please share this video with them. And I send them my campfire video. So that's how every single person I talk to gets that campfire video one way or another. But people who are snotty with me, I'm usually like, awesome, that's fine. If you know anybody open-minded who wants to experience these things, send this video their way.
I usually add on top of that, because I'll do something super similar, but sometimes
you're probably not as mean as me. That's why.
Well, I sometimes can get snotty because I have some mean ladies that come on my page, and I will say this. I'll say, you know what is so awesome? I love that you're the expert in the ketone space, and what's so cool is you can do it like that. But I've actually gotten to listen to some of the doctors, and they say that 20 to 30% of people will never get their body into ketosis. That's crazy that you can do it so easily. So I say, like, you know what? you might have a friend, it's very similar. Like you probably have friends or family that want, and I name the benefits. Like, why don't you let me know, or do you have anybody, or just share my campfire video? What's funny is I've had 3 moms in the last little while that have attacked me because that we're sharing a product and you can do it super strict keto. And I just kind of attacked back in a nice way. And one lady came back and she was like, you're right. I mean, I've told all of my friends to do this, and in the last week they all dropped out, so they can't do it. Like, oh yeah, but you kind of just have to like, hey, that's great. You're the expert. That's awesome. Most people aren't like you. So,
and I like to, even though it's me being snotty a little bit, I do like to fluff people. I just say, oh my God, you are freaking amazeballs. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you eat strict keto. Like, that's crazy. And if you have a whole bunch of people that you're friends with that can do it too, you guys are Wonder Women. I don't really know how you do it. So I'm grateful for this tool because it helped me. So if you run into anybody who's struggling and isn't as good at it as you, share this video with them. So I'm complimenting them, but kind of in a nice way. Please still like me. I promise I'm a nice person, but sometimes I just can't deal with it. Yes, definitely. Make it their idea. That's another thing too, you guys, objections that can come up. One thing I really just say to people, like sometimes you'll get a customer that's just like, oh, it's just not working, or oh, I just don't like the way it tastes, or oh, I don't have any appetite control. And you give them all the suggestions, and in the back of your head, sometimes you're like, they are eating Snicker bars. I know this is not their nutrition day. I know they didn't write this down in their Fitness Pal for real. This is not real. Like, you know it in the back of your head. So sometimes I'm just like, you know what? Maybe you're just that one random person that this product isn't for. Listen, nobody wants to hear that this product isn't for them. Like, the minute you tell them, oh, you know what? Maybe it's just not for you. They want it to be for them. Now, I don't use that very often, but there are reasons and times when I have to, and I cannot get over how many people will immediately go, well, but I do want to make it work. Oh, okay. Well, then let's make it work, right? So that's an objection that I kind of get even after I've gotten somebody to try the product. Also, I think people who don't like any of the flavors are crazy. So let's just leave it at that. I just like, I can't help you. What are you drinking? Are you drinking Mountain Dew? Is that the only thing you drink if you don't like raspberry lemonade max? I don't understand. Are you an alien? Okay, let's see. Reverse psychology. Yes, the takeaway technique. And again, Heather, what about the ones that think you harm yourself and being in ketosis too long? Let me tell you, 13 months of being here at Prove It, and I spent maybe my first month trying to convince people. I don't anymore. We have a product that can help every single person. It is not my job to make sure that you know that it can help you. I know it can help you. If we're in a conversation for the sole purpose that you want to tell me it's bad for you, if we're in the conversation where you are case building, that there's a reason why you can't do this, you can't do it. Like, that doesn't mean you'll never do it. It just means I can't spend my energy on that today, right? There are people I still haven't reached. I have Facebook friends I still haven't had conversations with. There are people still in my text contact list, whatever this is called on your phone, and I guess it's just your contact list, that I still haven't talked to yet, right? I have a brother who still doesn't drink it. A brother. I don't have time for somebody who's going to tell me that ketosis is bad for you, right? I can send you 1,000,001 articles, 1,000,001 videos, but if you believe the other things that you've read that say that that's true, I can't change that for you, right? So it's just a matter of where you spend your time. And what's really amazing is when you stop spending your time trying to convince people, you don't feel defeated, right? Like, if all you do is focus on convincing the 3 people who don't want to do it, and their answer is constantly no, that's a defeated feeling, right? So I don't focus on those people at all. Again, awesome. I totally respect your opinion. If you run into anyone who's open-minded or who wants to experience any of these benefits, please share this video with them. Done. Right? And then I usually delete them from my friends list because I need to make room for people who want it. So let's see here. Someone who said, Leslie said her sister can't work keto into her schedule. Yeah, see, I mean, when you fix that problem, then let's talk to the people who think ketosis is bad. Like, right? Evelyn, you are messaging me privately, but I'm going to say this out loud. I am not from Texas at all. I'm from Oregon, but I know there's a Hillsboro, Texas as well. It really confuses me. Okay, what were some of the other things? Flavors, yeah, we already talked about some flavors. Someone said too busy for keto. Yeah, I don't understand. Are there any other objections? I keep wanting to say objectives. Are there any other objections that we just didn't talk about? Julie, I love you because you think everything I'm saying is funny today. So I think I'm just gonna put it on just you so I only see your face react to what I say. You're probably like, get off this call and answer the messages that you're in. Medications, diabetes. So if people come to you with objections about medication and diabetes, I just tell them to check with their doctor. People want you to answer it for them, but they don't actually want to talk to their doctor. So here's just what I've personally experienced. When I say to someone, hey, ketones are safe for just about everybody, but if you have a medical condition that you are under a doctor's care for, you might be one of the random people that it's not for. So I suggest that you bring a packet to your physician or your pharmacist and check with them. 99.9% of the people don't want to talk to their doctors. I don't want to talk to my doctor. Do you think I asked my doctor? I don't have a medical condition, but do you think I asked my doctor before I bought keto? Do you think I asked my doctor before I went to the pharmacy at Target and bought some vitamins? No, I take those little chewy calcium vitamins and the chewy vitamin D vitamins, the ones that look like they're covered in sugar. Yeah, those are the ones I eat. I didn't ask my doctor if that was okay. Most people don't ask their doctors if it's okay, but you just saying that to them sometimes is like, you know what, I'll go ahead and give it a try. Right? So the objective, they just want you to say it's okay. You can't say it's okay, but saying that, a lot of times they'll just go, you know what, I'll give it a try.
On top of that, I always send a Dr. Carden video, like a Dr. Carden link, because she covers so many topics like of diabetes. She covers almost all of it, especially women's thyroid stuff. She always talks about something. And so what's fun is I could say, hey, she addresses it, and then they'll hear all of the stuff she talks about, and they're like, oh, I'll try it. So
yeah, that's a good call. Thank you, Stephanie. Okay. And like, listen, you guys, here's what I'm talking about. Someone said, oh, I have a lady whose husband researched it and he said no because he has this medical condition. Like, okay, so there are people who are just going to be no's because they have medical conditions. Like, that doesn't mean you don't have an incredible product to share. That doesn't mean you can't grow a business because someone has a stent in their heart and their doctor said no, which, by the way, my dad has 2 stents in his heart and his doctor said yes. So, it doesn't mean, like, I think the whole reason why I really wanted to have this conversation is because so many of us spend all day thinking about the no we got. Some people spend all day thinking about the no that we got. And listen, I get a crap ton of no's. Like, the reason why I have a business that's not tiny is because I get more no's than someone who doesn't ask the same amount of people as me, right? But if I focused on the no that I got, Sierra wouldn't have that story we just shared from the Prove It page, right? Because Sierra was one of our yeses. So you can't focus on that no. Somebody's just going to be a no, right? Or a not right now. Yes, the Zoom is being recorded.
Can I say something to the no?
For sure.
Okay, so I was listening to another girl explain this to her team the other day. I loved how she explained it. She said, most people, you can look at no's lots of different ways. Lots of people will teach on no, but she said this is how she walks herself through it and her team, and I thought it was a great perspective. She said, think about all of let's just use like $1,000 or 10 people, for example. So she said most of the time you hear like 1 in 10, you talk to 10 people, one person maybe will build with you or maybe will join you. Who knows, right? But she said, instead of going, no, yes, and you might have that one person where maybe if it's a money thing, if you make $1,000 or they decide to build with you, instead of going, no, yes, she goes, $100, $100, $100, $100, no, $100, no, $100. It's getting me closer, closer, closer. It just she just thought about it differently. Like you just keep going. So I don't know if that helps. And it just made her go, oh, that was $100 closer to my person that I'm going to help. I'm going to help build a team, or I'm going to help save their life, or whatever the case may be. But also, this is something that Brian's super passionate about. Is I feel like the no's really help you build your EQ. Have you guys heard Brian talk about EQ?
For sure.
Your emotional, like that's complete. This whole business has completely changed my life and how I react to my kids, how I react to people. And so just think about when somebody gives you a no, that's just a great way for you to like collect the facts, figure out it doesn't matter. Like you keep moving forward. It's not going to prohibit you it's not going to drag you down 30 days. Like you just keep going. And the more you do it, and the more you go to the events, the more you get on these Zooms, the more you get on the calls, it's going to build your belief up so much that like, even this last week, Steve was like, man, Stephanie, you must have went to a new level, because I've had so much, just not so much, but a handful of junk from people. And I think we've all been dealing with it. And I just don't care. Like, I've got a great product. We've got great teams. We know what we're doing. And if you love it, you're passionate. And if you're digging into the community, if somebody gives you like a no or a whatever the case may be, like, hey, great, get out of my way. I'm going forward. I don't know. Was it helpful? That's
yes,
it.
super helpful. I'm going to address a couple more things here because it's my goal to be an hour or less, and we've already failed. And I have another call, I think, at 6:30, so I can't go too much longer. Girls got to pee, at least at one point in between these things. So let's talk about the people who have an objection because it's a pyramid scheme or it's an MLM. So the same people that are going to message me and tell me that they can't possibly be in ketosis because that's going to kill you, it's bad for you. I've gotten that before. Things like that, or the know-it-alls that want to go through a whole bunch of medical things with you. I treat the people who don't want to be involved in a pyramid scheme or an MLM the exact same way. Because if they haven't realized that their regular 9 to 5 is the real pyramid scheme, then I don't know what to say, right? I worked my ass off, and I know this is being recorded, and I'm so sorry that I said a bad word, but I worked my ass off in a regular 9 to 5, and I'm sure many of you do too. And my ceiling, I had hit it, and I had hit it making $40,000 a year in my career. I was never going to make more than that. The only way I would make more than that is if I wanted my supervisor's job and she retired or died, and we were only 2 years apart. So the likelihood that that was going to happen, slim to none. So but I worked my butt off. I ran a childcare center that brought in $1 million a month in revenue, and I made 40 grand. A year. I can assure you when our team hit that $1 million a month in revenue, I was not making 40 grand a year. So I can't convince somebody of that, right? And there was a time in my life where I thought it was cheesebally too until I did it. So I am a personal believer that I don't spend my energy trying to convince people out of a state of negativity. I don't want to be surrounded by that. I don't want to introduce someone into our community who already has a negative attitude, because I think our community is filled with nothing but positive people, and I would never jeopardize that for anyone. So I just don't engage in that way. So I don't know if anybody wants to share, but I'm going to just quickly touch on the other 3 things I keep seeing. So just don't convince. Like, I keep seeing people saying, well, people don't want to be involved in MLM. Okay, then they don't. Like, you can't change their mind about that. That's just my opinion. And if that's why they don't want to buy the product, then that's ludicrous. Like, you can't, I just don't think you can change their mind, so I don't try. The only thing you can do is be consistent and be passionate and be excited, because the fact that you had that conversation at all means they're watching what you're doing. And sometimes those people come around on their own, but I just don't believe you can do it. Also, people who say that they don't have enough friends, I always say like this, well, would you like to make some more friends? I haven't ever met anyone that said no. I actually don't want to make any more friends. If someone says I don't have enough friends, I say, well, do you want me to help you make some more friends? And they say yes. I say, awesome. Well, then we'll make that a part of your plan. Right? you at least have 5 people that you love, right? Like I just say to people, you've experienced the product or we've talked about these benefits. Can you think of 5 people that you know and love who might want to feel that good too? Every great business, in my opinion, starts with your mom and your best friend loving what you're selling them, right? Like, I know that sounds bad because I don't like to use the word sell, but I really believe that. Like, my mom and my best friends were the first people I told about this. It didn't matter how many Facebook friends I had. My business was built off of 5 people that I loved and cared about. That's it. And it grew from there. So I think we let people put too much emphasis on they don't have a big enough network. We can show them how to get a network. Like you can put them on a Zoom with me and I'll go on for 3 hours about how to grow their network. We can do that. People say that they aren't a people person. That's really sad. Ask them if they would like to feel better about themselves. Like literally. Well, that's sad. I'm enjoying this conversation that I'm having with you. Would you like to be a part of something that can help you grow as a person so you feel like you're a people person? Just freaking ask them that. Raise your hand if you think you are a better version of yourself because you are a part of Prove It. Okay, so don't be afraid to ask the person that you're talking to if they would also like to be a better version of themselves, because that's what we do here. And people who say that they aren't a seller, here's the conversation I have. I always go, okay, well, here's my question for you. Have you ever eaten at a really great restaurant or seen a really great movie or gotten your nails done somewhere? Christina Peterson, like, you go get your nails done where I get my nails done. I know you do because you talked to one of the ladies about ketones the other day. She told me that you did. So, like, I don't make any money because all my friends go to the same nail place. I really freaking wish I would. I mean, like, literally years and years and years and years and years of me referring my friends there. I've never gotten a free manicure, ever. I get $8 off on a little punch card every time I go 10 times. So, like, that's the benefit. Nothing. I get nothing for referring my friends, but I do. So I tell people that, and I ask them, have you ever referred a friend to anything? Okay, guess what? You just did the exact same thing that I do every single day with ketones. And then I just ask them to narrow it down to their mom and their best friend. Like, do you have a mom that you talk to? Do you want her to feel better? Awesome. Do you have a best friend or a sister or a sibling that you love and you talk to because I mean, I have a sibling I don't talk to, so some people that could be a real thing, so don't assume. But like, just share it with them. That's the beginning. That's all it is. So you just have to make it not feel overwhelming for people. And that's one of the reasons why third-party validation is so huge, because that helps people not feel overwhelmed, right? When Christina, and I'm sorry, I'm picking on you a lot because now you're right smack dab in the middle of my screen. It's shifting, everybody. When Christina puts me in a message with someone or puts someone in front of me, her job seems a whole heck of a lot easier because she didn't do anything. She passed them off to me and I did the work. So that person that she just came in, that she just brings in goes, oh, I can do that. So you just have to make it easy for people. Simple. It's not always going to be easy. And then just accept the reality, guys. Some people are going to be not right now. Some people are going to say I'm all in and do nothing. And some people are going to crush it. But if you give up over here, you're never going to get to this person over here. Right? So, and I wouldn't want to share anything else with anybody. Like, I wouldn't. There is nothing else out there that you could show me that would make me go, oh, yeah, that would be better. No, this is something, this community, this product, these are things that we can share with every single human being on the planet. If they don't think ketosis is safe, just let them watch you. If they don't think that being in MLM, which we're not, I always go, oh, that's good. We're not an MLM. I don't like MLMs either. That's what I say to people. I just say that. If they think it's a bad idea, okay, just let them watch. You move on to the next person, because moving away from those conversations is one step closer to the person who's going to crush it. Did we skip anything? I feel really sweaty. I feel like I was like, go, 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 go.
Hey, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
When you do say something like, oh, we aren't an MLM, and they try to rebuttal you, do you have a rebuttal back to that?
I just say we're community-based marketing.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really.
And then, so, like, I'll say the same thing, and they'll be like, "Well, isn't that still considered an MLM?" And I'm just like,
Well,
I'm like,
I would say to them,
MLMs
what do you?
don't support each other like a community-based marketing does, in my opinion.
I would just say maybe what about an MLM do you think is not great? Because chances are it's people at the top making all the money, people at the bottom not. That is not what we do. Let me be real with you. There are people who came in prior to me and maybe even sit above me that make less than me. It has nothing to do with who's at the top and who's at the bottom, and it has everything to do with your hustle and heart. That is not the case anywhere else. So if someone comes to you, MLM is a multi-level marketing. Think Avon or Mary Kay. Like, there's a stigma against, I bring you in, you do work, I make money off of you. But that's what my boss did. She brought me in, I did her job, she made money. Like, right? And the better I did, the bigger her bonus was. So,
Most of the time they just have a bad taste. They probably already were in one. So just ask them, like, what's the issue? So that's it.
Yeah, I agree to say, what's the issue with that? What's your concern?
Right.
And then address it with, oh, I don't experience that here at all. So, all right, anything else? Amanda says, this has been the best experience I've had with this type of business. I 100% agree. That made my day, Amanda. Love it. Also, I just want to acknowledge, I think is this our Kansas crew down here doing dream boards? Yes, I see a high five. I love you. Oh, if it weren't so cold and windy there, I'd come all the time, but I hated it. No, I'm just kidding. I loved you guys, but I was like, why is it so windy and why is it actually was really hot, I think, when I came to see you guys. I was like, why is the air touching me? I feel the air. Leslie's got a vision board. Book mixer booked. I think Christina, are you and Jack working on one too? I think it was your idea. Did Jack decide to jump in and help? I don't know.
Not yet, but we're working on it. I'd love to collaborate with him though.
Okay. I may love to have you guys
For sure.
Oh, yay. I didn't know if he was still on. Jack and one of our team members is having a mixer on Saturday, so we've got a bunch of people there, and we've got a dream board thing coming too. Tabitha said she's never done anything like this before, and she's glad she jumped in. We are glad too. Okay, so we've lost about 20 people, which means we all feel like that we've reached the end of this. I know there are so many people on here who have a ton of value that they could have brought to this conversation, and I wish I could have called on all 95 to 135 of you, because that's the range of people we've had. I'm gonna post the recording tonight. I promise. Before I go to bed, it'll be done. Thank you. Oh, Melissa, you're on. I didn't even see your face. Hold on. That's because there's so many people on here. Oh, there you are. Hi, Melissa. I didn't even see you on there, but she just said awesome Zoom. So hopefully you guys got value out of this. If there's a topic that we didn't touch on and you'd like us to touch on it at a later date, or if you'd like us to do this again, even though the conversation would still be the same, and the sharing of the recording isn't enough, or if there's another topic that you think we could touch on, let us know. We're happy to do these for you guys. I really appreciate so many of you jumped on, and by the number of people that jumped on, it tells me that this was a conversation we really needed to have. So I hope that it was helpful. I hope that it was beneficial. Please feel free to use this for third party however you need to. You've got a ton of people on your side. We have an incredible product, an incredible community. I believe 110% that you're all in the exact place that you're supposed to be, and I appreciate that that's with us. So I hope you guys have a really good night. Mwah. Love you all. The recording is ending, and I will post it ASAP. Thank you, Stephanie, for coming on board and tag teaming this with me tonight. I appreciate it.